So welcome everybody. Welcome to Hot Song Podcast. It's November the 13th today, 2025. And our topic this evening is enlightenment 2, because we started talking about enlightenment last episode. And we kind of introduced what enlightenment really entails. I would say my definition of what enlightenment is, which is to know. So when you just know something, you just download the information. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to use logic to reason it out. You don't have to learn it from somebody. You just download that information. When you can do that, then that is what enlightenment really entails. Is that because you're a powerful being that can know things. So when you start to tap into that part of yourself, you actually just will be able to receive information about any topic that you want to look into, whether it is to get to know, let's say, how to do something or get to know a person. You actually just download the information. You can find out all about the person just by asking for information and using the, I would say, activated part of yourself to get that. And when you can do that, or the more you can do that, then the more you are advanced in enlightenment. So we also talked about tiers, because enlightenment is not something that, you're not enlightened um this second, and then when you're enlightened, you flip a switch on and it's full grown. It's not. It's a progression. So you may start to be able to download some information, but not quite complete yet. But the more you open up your own inner knowing, the more you can download information. And so there are tiers, and we talked about the 7 tiers last time. So it's okay, just know. So these are the 7 tiers that we talked about, from tier 1 to tier 7. So tier 1 is your soul is awakened. So your soul, because it's really your soul that is able to download information, to know things from thin air. You don't have to learn about it, nothing like that. So it is really your soul that does that. And that's the non-physical part of you. And when you are connected with your soul, when you have aligned with your soul enough, then these are the things that you'll be able to download. And the more you are able to live from your soul, the more information, or the more profound your information you'll be able to download. So at tier 1, soul is awakened, but ego is still there. So the ego mind is kind of interfering with the process. And then tier 2, ego is, I wouldn't say completely gone. I would say um it's much more pliable. It's much more aligned with your soul. That's tier 2. And when you're into tier 3, your ego is really gone. So you can start to see your own get information about things that are important to you. And you start to see the bigger picture as well. And when you are tier 4, you are so much in line with yourself that your own energy field can start to assist other people into sorting their own energy field out. So you become the healing field. So at tier 4, you are truly aligned with your soul. And then tier 5, you start to align with the infinite part of yourself. So you have a lot more access. And at tier 6, you live as truth. So at tier 6, whenever you are present, wherever you are present, you will start to shift things around you. Then your environment, you change your environment. Your environment would start to be affected by your own energy field. And when you get to tier 7, you are the one. You are one with the, I would say, the creating principle. So you are the one field. So you also don't you kind of loses, or you don't have as you won't distinguish between yourself and others, because you are the one. You include everyone else. So that's what the 7 tiers are like. And I just want to kind of emphasize a little bit is that your journey, your soul's journey here, your journey here, meaning your journey here on earth, on this playground, is really led by your soul. It may not seem like that at times. However, your soul is really the one that is guiding you and arranging things for you. So if you are alive here, it means your soul wants to experience something, because it wants to clarify its understanding about some aspect of reality. Because when we here, we have a body, the physical part of us, it really assists your soul in understanding how each thought can be played out. So that's why you're here. Your soul wants you to be here, is so that you can experience and learn from that experience. So to find out which tier you're in, because well, I'm quite sure you would, when you start to look at the 7 tiers, you would, the natural question to ask yourself is, which tier am I in? So just a few questions to ask yourself. Do you make choices from your soul? Or do you need to think about or plan things out? Are you certain about your life choices? Or do you make a choice and then you kind of second guess yourself all the time? Do you see the big picture for yourself? Or do you see big picture for other people as well? So these are questions to give you an idea which tier you're at. The most important is that the first question is, do you make choices from your soul? If you're still relying on logic and your emotions to make choices, then you're probably not very high on the tiers, because when your soul is really doing the choosing, when you are aligned with your soul will guide you. Whereas if you have to rely on thinking things out using logic, then you're not getting the input from your soul. That's why you have to rely on these other things. But when you are aligned with your soul, you would know. Your soul would give you an idea what is best. which one to choose from. What is the next step? So that's really tier one. So if you are not even making choices from your soul, then you know that you're not tier one yet. You're in tier zero, which is your soul is not awakened yet. So, and if your soul is awakened, then it's a matter of how much or how congruent you are. So the more higher your tiers, the more certain you would be. If you make choices and then you doubt yourself, then you're not quite listening to your soul, because your soul knows, it truly knows what's best for you. And when you are following your soul, there is no doubt. So that's why these questions are here to kind of guide you and somehow let you know where you are at. A little bit more. Oh, okay. Let's just stop here. And any questions, comments so far? Not really.
Yeah. When you say make choices from the soul, is it like from the heart? Does that mean?
In a way, yes. Yeah. You make choices from your soul because um your heart it's really aligned with your soul.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I have a
Just
question, Vinny.
Sorry, what was that question?
The question is, if you are guided by your soul, sometimes would the dream that tells you what to do and you do be that guiding from the soul?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Of course, you have to learn how to decipher whether it is your soul or is it something else.
What could something else be, possibly?
Could be emotions. It could be emotions, or it could be, I would say, a program. The the more you align with your soul, it's just a different feeling. The soul has a presence that feels different when the soul communicates with you. It's a different feeling.
I mean, that remains a mystery, but it's difficult to understand.
Usually it is usually when you're more calm and after some meditation, when you are more I would say at the right frequency to get what your soul is trying to communicate with you. then yes. Does it, is it clear enough?
Yeah, when you say the soul communicates, that kind of feels the closest to my heart. Kind of that explanation is intuitively that feels right for me.
Okay, good. Any other questions or comments? Okay, let's continue then. So this is a little bit more about what the tiers are. Tier 0 is really life is led by emotions and or logic. So soul is not quite awakened yet, and it is the ego that is leading. It's an interesting ride to be run by logic and emotions. Life is definitely more dramatic that way. And and then when you get to tier 1, your soul is awake, but it's not quite stable yet. So sometimes you know what to do, but even though you know from your heart, but you still need to have logic or have emotions to interfere with your choice, with your life choices. So at tier 1, so it's awakened, but it's not quite stable yet. And in tier 2, the soul knows what to do, but doubt follows. So you know what to do, but you still second guessing. Should I follow my soul? Is this my soul talking or something else? So you would have these doubts. So what this really means, what's really going on is your soul access is kind of being blocked by your mind, by your thought patterns, or by karma. So something is, even though your soul is awakened and it is guiding you, but you're not sure yet. You don't have that. Um, yes, this is what I need to do. You don't have that full, I would say, confidence in your choices. And usually that's because of some beliefs your mind have, or there is some karma or some lineage thing that is blocking you. And then in tier 3, you can start to see the consequences of each situation and you can act accordingly. So your soul is quite stable and the soul is leading, and you can start to see visions of future that is guiding you. So your soul is stable. However, you kind of only know what's best for yourself. You're not quite seeing the bigger picture for people around you yet. So you have access, but you don't have big enough access. So at tier 4, you know what's best for yourself and others as well. So your soul is getting to be powerful. So it's leading you and you become the healing field. Just by people being close to you, they would be healed by you as well. So this is tier 4 is great. You start to become, even without doing anything, you start to shift others around you. Tier 5, you have infinite view. You can see backwards and forwards in time. You can see for yourself and for others. And basically, your ego is not in your soul's way at all. And then tier 6, reality starts to reshape around you. So you become the law carrier. Law is natural law. So you kind of hold the source identity. So you,
I think those are far, far, far away.
yes,
I
not
don't
quite
know.
there yet. I wouldn't say that we can't get there. I'm just saying that, I'm
Yeah,
not there, definitely. Other people may be there. I'm just not there yet.
and even the lower ones, because yeah, some people, yeah, enlightened, what they
Hmm.
know, but for me, whatever to do,
Yeah.
I don't know which one's from, so which one is my logic, my level, my, I just do it. If I have to find out it's from soul or from my logic, I cannot survive because I never find out and I never know which one is which. I just automatically doing things. Wow.
Hmm. Well, that's why we are going to talk about, how to get what you need to do to get to each of these tier. Because yes, like a lot of people are in tier 0 and we're not very high on the tiers yet. However, it does not mean that we can't get there momentarily. There may be some times that we can access tier 3 even though we may be in tier 1. Because tier 3, if you when I say tier 1 or tier 2, it does not mean that you have to get there all the time. We can visit tier 3 if you need that kind of access. So we can actually briefly visit a tier. But to be stabilized in that tier, then yes, that takes work. It takes practice. However, there are shortcuts. Let's say we can be in let's say tier 5 or tier 4 to know something, to get some information. That's possible. It's just not possible to stay in tier 5 or tier 4 when you are, in tier 1 or tier 0. So you can't jump tiers, but you can visit the higher tiers momentarily when you need to. So, I didn't talk about the last one, tier 7, you are the one field. So there's really no soul remaining, meaning there's no individual soul remaining because you are one with everything else, everyone else. So that is a rather, I would say,
That again, just what you said.
hmm
What's that? Do you say so?
I don't quite get your question.
I didn't understand what you just said. What's that?
Oh,
Ah,
okay. So when I say in tier 7, you are the one field, meaning that you don't really have a soul, an individual soul anymore. Because a soul is, if you still identify with your soul, then you can, so soul is just one of many. Whereas when you are the one field, you actually you're out of an individual soul. You are,
Okay, that I understand. But I really don't know
don't know what.
what 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 the decisions from soul, what is from my logical left brain, whatever. Mm.
It simply means you don't think of yourself anymore. You see the whole oneness. You don't just so you kind of you're part of the oneness. Does that make it any clearer? In deep meditation, you can do that.
But the decision, the daily life is not in deep meditation. You just do it running around. You are not in a deep meditation state. You make
Mhm,
everything, the
mhm.
decisions.
You,
You
you will
don't
be
make your
living,
decision when you in deep meditation.
if when you're in tier 7, your life would be very different. It would be very different from what you are doing now. So, meaning that when you are in tier 7, you wouldn't need to run around. Everything would just happen. It's a different kind of being alive. Is that how is that? Okay. Did I kind of explain it to you enough yet, June? Okay. So, any other questions, comments before I continue? Okay. In that case, so I did mention that there are shortcuts. So this is one way to get to any tier. When you do this, you get to visit a tier, any tier that you would like. How long you can stay in that tier, I don't know. That depends on, I would say that depends on how much you have access to your own soul and being aligned with your own soul. So to get to any tier is you activate your orb, then the tier, whatever the tier you want to connect to. So for example, tier 1, connect, activate, and then coherence, activate. So when you do that, then you are in tier 1. And you will stay there for as long as you it's that your own energy allows you to. You may be there for an hour, a day, I don't know. And it could be tier 5, it could be tier 7, connect, activate, and then coherence. Right. So this is if you want to visit a tier. However, to stay in a tier, to get to a tier, enough to stay in a tier, then it takes a little bit different. So let's try this. Let's do tier 3. I was thinking let's just try. So let's just take a deep breath in and let go. Take another deep breath in. Let go. Take one more deep breath in. Let it all go. Continue to breathe in and out with the intention of elongating your breath as much as it is still comfortable for yourself. So just use your breath to allow your body to relax. Allow your mind to relax as well. Zero point activate. Breathe into your 0 point and breathe out through the top of your head. Do this until you feel your 0 point is active. It's pulsing and it is truly activated. When you feel your 0 point activated, that means you have access to your soul now. So orb activate. Remember, orb is really your soul being projected outside of you to create an orb. So continue to breathe in and out. And you may need to repeat to yourself another time or two. Orb activate until you feel that there is an orb that's been formed. And when you feel that, Tier 3 connect, activate. Coherence, activate. A deep breath in and let it all go. When you are ready, open your eyes, come all the way back into the room. When you're ready. So how was that? How does Tier 3 feels like?
It was very powerful.
You feel the shift, right? Yeah. In Tier 3, your soul just becomes so much more powerful. Okay. So those are the steps to get to any tier. It could be tier 5, tier 6. You can visit those tiers, as I mentioned. How long you
Should
stay
we
in there?
start? I'm sorry. Should we start from tier 1 or we should start from any number? I mean, from any tier. Should we go one by one? From tier 1 to tier 7, or should we go to any tier you want?
Um, each tier is good for certain things. Tier 3 is good for, I would say, figuring out what is the best for yourself. If that's what you need to do, then tier 3.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to start to affect the people around you or see a bigger picture, then tier 4. Right? So it depends on what you want to do, because these tiers, just being in the activating the tiers can actually each tier can do different healing as well, which we'll talk about later on. So don't worry, don't you have to bother with that. So this is just to let you know that, you can visit any of the tiers whenever you want. But getting stable at tier 3 is very different from visiting tier 3. It takes a bit more work. Let's put it that way. Okay? So if you want to visit any tier just to find out what it feels like to be there, then this is what you can do. You can visit any tier. And now let's talk about how to get to each of the tiers. I'm only going to talk to tier 4 today, and then we'll cover the rest some other days. Okay, so this is kind of just a bit more general introduction to how to get to the tiers. For tier 1, if you're not even in tier 1, then and you want to get to tier 1, then this is what it is. So tier 1 is really soul coherence. You actually want to start to wake up your soul so that it becomes coherent enough to start to guide you. So you can hear your own soul's voice much more clearly. So start to dissolve. Okay, so dissolve ego reaction and emotional confusion. What does that mean? I'll cover that in more detail later on. So this is just a very high level. And then the action, meaning that what you really need to do is to activate your soul eye, your wisdom eye, and do USF. So when you start to do these 3, then because I've mentioned before that USF itself is a healing field for yourself. So the soul eye is really you are activating your own soul. And the wisdom eye starts to allow you to interpret what your soul eye can see. And what the USF does is just it starts to organize your own soul's energy field. So when you do this consistently enough, then your soul would become coherent enough, strong enough, so that you can hear your own soul's communication. So this is tier 1. Tier 2, purify. So you woke up your soul in tier 1. Tier 2, you start to purify your soul. Okay, so you start to work on dissolving karma, because when there is any karmic overload or lineage blockage as well, then it actually stops you from hearing communication from your soul properly. So the action is soul. So you have to activate your soul eye, or activate your wisdom eye. 3 heads voided. 3 heads. It's really meaning you need to clear emotions. You need to clear emotions and clear your mental chatter. So you need to, when you do those, there's no more blockage between you and how you can understand communication from your own soul. This is what you need to do for tier 2. Tier 3, great vision access. So you start to see the big picture for yourself. So dissolve personal agenda. Of course, this is all from clearing karma, clearing any lineage things, though. So it's really more of what you are doing in tier 2. And then you start to hold a higher vision for yourself. So you do that by activating 6th eye, really working on your 6th eye. Start to do the one field and USF. And this time, the USF in tier 1, even though you activate it, but it's not fully functioning because you still have some access that's being blocked. In tier 2, your USF will start to stabilize. And in tier 3, when you have released enough emotions, karma, lineage things, your USF, meaning your own unified soul field, would be coherent. It's your own USF would be powerful and it would be active as well. Tier 4, total soul instrument. So identity, you start to dissolve identity attachment. Action is you work on the soul eye, wisdom eye, 6th eye. USF is full coherence and 1. The one field is not coherent yet, but you can start to activate it. And when you do that, you can start to be a healing field for others around you because your own USF is coherent and is powerful enough to assist others. And you have access to the one field, even though it's not fully coherent yet. Okay, so kind of these are the things you need to do for the first 4 tiers. And now let's just focus on getting to tier 1. In case you're not in tier 1, these are the things that I would suggest you to do to get to tier 1. So tier 1 is really about waking up the soul enough that it can start to guide you. And I would highly suggest, that you activate your soul eye and do soul clearing. So there are many ways to do soul clearing. Remember whirlpool activate, We've talked about that a few months back. Start to do work on clearing your own soul. And then the whirlpool is really your soul, the orb spinning. When you spin the orb, it starts to clear stuck energy. And then you can use your whirlpool to release some karma. Karma release activate. So work with these two commands. And the other things you can do is to do emotional clearing. Emotional clearing. So how to clear an emotion? I've talked about this in private practices before, I think in several places. Oops, I'm trying to get to, okay. So this is from private practices too. So this is kind of the script for releasing an emotion. Releasing emotion is quite involved because emotions has several layers. So you don't just release the emotion, you have to release the belief, the attachments. So that's we've talked about this, how to release emotions, and you release it in different dimensions. Because our emotions are very powerful. So we need to go to several layers to release emotions. And then after we do that, we have to reset our blueprint. And we have to restore the blueprint. So home reset, home restore, blueprint restore, activate. So then these are the things that the whole script that we can go through, which I've talked about when was that? This is September, way back end of September, we talked about this. Right. So this is one way of doing emotions, releasing emotions. And then the other is to release mental blockage, so limiting beliefs. So dissolving mental misalignments, which we talked about very recently in October. So very recently we talked about this. So we've introduced the 10 major mental misalignments. I think we've done maybe 5 or 6 of them. And so these are the mental misalignments. When we can dissolve the mental misalignments, then our soul, we will have better access to our soul. So these are the things that I would suggest that you do whenever you find an emotion that you get triggered quite a bit, and then just clear the emotion. If there's a thought pattern that is making your life more difficult, then do the release limiting beliefs. Dissolve the mental misalignments, and then start to activate Wisdom I, do the USF activate, do these things. I would suggest one more thing as well is to put your focus in your heart, to activate your 0 point as often as you remember. Because when you activate your 0 point and you really place your attention in your 0 point and really check on when you make a choice, big or small, just check on how your soul is reacting to your own choice. If when you make a choice, you find that you feel open, your heart space feel open, then there is resonance from your soul. Whereas if you make a choice and your heart just closes off, then there's something is off. So the more you place your attention within the 0 point and you pay attention to how your soul is reacting to your daily life, to your choices, then you start to get a better relationship with your soul. Tier 1 is really about establishing this relationship with your soul and to be able to hear what your soul is telling you, is trying to guide you. And when you do this, when you consciously choose to place attention in your 0 point and to just pay attention to what's going on in your heart space, then it would, I would say, make it much faster, easier for you to get coherent with tier 1. I mean, so this is the first point. So questions, comments so far? Tier 1 is simple, right? Easy peasy.
Are we gonna do together tier 1?
We already did all those things in tier 1, right?
Tier 1. So let's just visit tier 1 first. Tier 1 may be easy for some of you. So let's just do the shortcut. So you know what it feels like. And then we can do some of those. Because even with tier 1, I've done a lot of it with you, with all of you, because I've talked about the releasing emotions, releasing mental misalignments. So those, we've done a lot of it already.
Yeah, we did.
Pretty much. If you've been paying attention. Okay, so let's just go back.
Repetition is mother of learning.
Yes. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's just try this. Let's just see what tier 1 feels like. So just breathe in and out to relax your body first. Because when your body is relaxed, your mind is more relaxed, then everything just goes easier. So just use your breath to guide your body into a more relaxed mode. Wherever it is, if you feel any tension in your body, any stress in your body, Just allow that part of your body to soften. Continue to breathe in and out. So we have already activated the 0 point just then. So now let's just activate your orb. Orb activate. Breathe all the way into your 0 point, all the way down to your sacrum, and breathe out through the top of your head. Orb activate. You can tell that your orb has been activated when you can feel the orb kind of just, you feel that there is an orb in front of your head, a little bit, just slightly below eye level. There is an energy orb there. And when you activate it, you can feel that there is something there. And if you can see energy, you should be able to see it spinning in front of you. Tier 1 connect, activate. Coherence, activate. Okay. Come back. This is what Tier 1 feels like. Okay, this is what tier 1 feels like. Not as powerful as Tier 3, but it's different already. You can feel the shift.
I can feel a little bit energy difference.
Mm-hmm. It's getting to Tier 1. So I've talked about a couple of things that you can do to get to Tier 1. And you can So tier 1, so I, wisdom I, and USF activate. So these 3, meaning that when these 3 are up, then you're in tier 1, USF. So we've done USF before. We've done so I, wisdom I. So it's just a matter of activating them. As I mentioned already, you can activate tier 1. Just these 3 can get you to tier 1.
Could you give this slide to us so that we can digest more with more time? Is that okay?
Sorry, what was that?
Could you please send the slides to us so we have time digest a little bit more?
Absolutely, I can send. Yep, sure. The slides, yes. I shall send the slides. I sent the slides last time, okay, last week, and then this week I'll send the slides as well. Send the slides as well. Not an issue. Okay.
Thank you.
th- So tier 1 is, and I would say fairly easy to get to even to be stabilized in tier 1. It's fairly easy. You just have to do emotional release, because it's usually when we get triggered too much, or if we have misaligned thoughts, then it blocks our soul trying to communicate with us. So it's simply a matter of doing those. When you do those, then your soul would be able to communicate with you, and you can hear it too. Maybe not all the time, but you will hear it often enough.
Okay.
Questions, comments so far? No? Okay. Well, I thought the meditation for this evening, the final meditation, I would like to just do a fear release, because fear release haven't done for a bit now, a couple of months maybe. So let's do the fear again. And I would just quickly go over the script with you all. So we're doing fear. Emotions is 4-inch and 4th dimension. Those 2, so we activate those 2, we activate USF, and then we release fear. So any emotions, if you want to do another emotion as well, you can pretty much use this same script, but instead of fear, you just put whatever emotion you want to release. And then this, and then we go to 6th dimension, because each of these dimensions actually release a different aspect of fear. So 4th dimension is the emotion. 5th dimension is more about the the mental part of it. 6th dimension is more lineage. 7th dimension starts to do karmic release. 8th dimension is more about karmic release and also starting to do the blueprint as well. And then 9th dimension, that's when we start to reset. We do home reset, blueprint, restore, and activate. And then we do soul, restore, activate. And that's what releasing emotion is about. So, questions before we start to do this? Okay.